But what happened with entertainment, because people ask me to this day, Gerald, why did you leave the entertainment business and go and do other things? Because when they go look at some of my stuff from back in the day, they're like, dang, it seemed like y'all was doing well. We were doing well. But the entertainment scene changed. People wasn't going out as much because the economy. People wasn't spending as much on going out, bottle service, VIP sessions. People was not spending that money as much anymore. So my income took a huge decline. I was literally on a brink, and I honestly share this in many other webinars that I've done in the past. I was on a brink of bankruptcy. Like, seriously, it was that horrible where the money was not coming in. And so around that time, I had one of my buddies who used to be in the entertainment business with me. He used to promote exotic dance clubs with me here in the city. And that was one of the clubs I used to do too, exotic dance clubs. And he pretty much said, hey, G, I got an opportunity for you, man. If you want to make some additional streams of income. And so he introduced me to an industry called network marketing and direct sales. This was in 2011. It was a telecom and energy company. And when he introduced me, I went to the big hotel meeting they was having. They had the founders, co-founders, all that there. And it was a packed room. I'll be quite frank with you. I heard all the success stories. And I was like, man, this sounds great. But I had when I was in the entertainment business, I used to make very quick investment decisions, and I lost a lot of money. I'm talking about even outside of the entertainment business. Like, people used to come to me with all these investments, and I'd be like, all right, man, I'll put up with you. And I'd be losing so much money. So I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I was like, no, I ain't gonna move too fast on this one. I'm gonna be a little bit more calculated, right? And so I didn't move immediately. But what ended up happening was later that year, 2011, he hit me up again. He was great at follow-up. This is a big thing for you. You're listening to this. You got to follow up with people. You never know. It may not be right at that time, or it might be right later at another time. He followed up with me and he said, Gerald, networking event tonight, man. Gonna be a bunch of multimillionaires, millionaires, people having success, man. Come out, man. Come hang out with me. Of course, I'm not gonna turn that down. All right. Multimillionaires. I'm there. Send me the address. What time? Where I need to be? So he sent me the address. It was an address out to Johns Creek here in Atlanta, which is, if you don't know what Johns Creek is, that's a very wealthy place here in Georgia. And I go out there, and literally they got to take my ID to get in the gate. They got to call the person to let me. I said, okay, this is serious. Anybody's house, the person at the gate, they won't even just let me in. So I'm like, okay, this is real. So I go in, and when I pull up, it's a big old mansion. I'm gonna be all in car frame with you. A lot of luxury cars outside. I walk in, and I go downstairs, and I see people gathered down there, and lo and behold, I'm networking, and this lady walks down. This is her house. I found out later. And she starts to do a presentation. And I said, oh, he got me again. Man, he got me again, right? And it pretty much was another network marketing direct sales presentation for telecom and energy at that time. And she did the presentation. After seeing her lifestyle, seeing her house, I saw her kids, her husband, how happy he was. I seen, they fleet of cars outside. I'm like, okay, they're actually living this. I said, I'm in. I was the only person to join that night, and it was a bunch of guests. I'm the only person. I said, I'm in, and I joined. So I got into the company, and I was still doing the entertainment business. Entertainment business just wasn't where it needed to be. And about pretty much a few months in, I really hadn't done much. I didn't recruit anybody. I didn't get any customers. But around January 2012, that same sponsor that put me in said, hey, man, come to New Orleans, Louisiana. We're having a convention. And he said, I want you to come out. Now, I'm going to be quite frank with you. The entertainment business I was in was going downhill. I really wasn't making no money in the direct sales. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I didn't have a big savings, anything. I kind of ran through my savings. I said, I'm going to get out there, though. And I went out to New Orleans, Louisiana. I stayed in a crappy hotel in a crappy neighborhood. It literally was in the hood. I'm gonna be quite frank with you. New Orleans is not the place you want to be staying in the hood. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm in the hood. and literally, I go to this conference. It's a 3-day conference, and I started to see, long story short, people like myself, similar backgrounds, sharing their success stories. And I said, if they can do it, If they can do it, why can't I? I said, I'm going to take this seriously moving forward. So I leave that conference. I take the information they give me. I implement it. Long story short, literally 8 months later, I hit the position. It's called national director in that company. I literally had hit 5 positions in the compensation plan in 8 months.
Wow.
And I built a sales team of around 323 people. And we had about 1,600 residual paying customers on our telecom and energy services. And we was doing well, right? And I literally left the entertainment business at that time. So some people ask, why didn't I leave that? I was making more money. I said, I didn't need the entertainment business anymore. So I went full-fledged with that. Now, Denise, around about 3 years of doing that business, what ended up happening was we started to run out of warm market and the different ways we was utilizing to generate leads and recruits and customers and all that. You know, we was doing everything under the sun, right? We was doing home events because home events was big then. It's not as big now because you got internet and stuff, but back then you used to have to go do home events, like get people to come out to a home and do a presentation, hotel meetings, getting people out to that, webinars. I used to have to hop on planes and travel all over the country and do presentations for my team. You know, all of those type of things. We was even, Denise, going out, passing out flyers, like literally at malls, at events here in Atlanta, cold calling. We was doing everything. And we got to a point we was like, man, I'm getting tired of all this rejection. And so we were just like, it got to be another way to do this. So I saw one of my buddies at the time who actually introduced me to this business model. He posted on social media, I'm crushing it on social media and internet, growing my business. I don't have to hit the streets. I don't have to do home meetings. I don't have to worry about hotel meetings. I don't got a cold call. I mean, we was putting out bandit signs, like the realtors put the bandit signs around the city. He didn't have to do, he was like, I don't have to do any of that. So I hit him up. I said, hey, bro, you got to show me what you're doing. So pretty much he got on the call with me and he shared with me this idea of attraction marketing. This was 2014. Now, today, everybody is hype on attraction marketing in 2025. This was over 10 years ago. He was like, bro, attraction marketing. So he started to talk to me about these strategies. I'm like, oh, this sounds great, but I'm going to need some assistance with this. I need you to coach me because, you know, you're just telling me, all right, cool, but I need some help. So he said, all right.
I need you to tell me.
Right, exactly. He said, you share the strategies, but how can you help me? And he said, well, I can coach you, but you're going to have to pay me, you know, for my time. And I said, all right, cool. What's the price? He told me the price. I'm going to be quite frank with you. You all that's watching this. Because I hear people all the time that have gotten on calls with me, my team, and other clients of mine over the years. I don't have the money for that type of stuff. Be quite frank with you, I didn't have the money. I didn't. I ran through my savings. Network marketing at that time, my income took a huge dip. I had the money. I borrowed the money. And I paid him. And I told him, hey, coach me. Literally 30 days later, I had $1,000 a day online, Denise. Right? $1,000 a day online. A few months later, we launched it to a new network marketing company because that company went downhill. It was in the travel industry. Got into that. And literally within 70 days of being in that travel company, I took those internet marketing strategies that I learned. And I taught them to people that I was even enrolling. And literally in 70 days, I was ranked amongst the top 5% of income earners out of the entire company. It was around 12,000 representatives, okay, at that time. I was on track to be a diamond, literally, I would say around about 6 months or less. And diamond is at the top 3%.
Right.
And you only needed 300 people on your team to be diamond, equally balanced throughout your organization. I was on track, but when I was almost that close to diamond, I started to have what they call attrition. People started falling out, and I had to rebuild. So it took me about a year to get to diamond, a little over a year, and I hit diamond. I was ranked amongst the top 3% of income earners. I had people in my team who also became top producers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 45,000 representatives. And while I'm in that company, Denise, I was coaching with a coach at that time, and I told him, I said, network marketing is great, but I believe I'm destined for a bigger impact in this. And see, what people don't realize is when I got in network marketing, I never got in there for my career to be a professional networker. I always share this because some networkers ask me, Gerald, if it was so good and you was making so much money in your residual, all that, I made a great amount of money in network marketing, great amount. Be quite frank with you, I did. And I had team members make a lot of money. But here's the reality. I never got into it just for that. Mm-hmm. I looked at it as a vehicle to be able to go on to do other things. Mm-hmm. That was my main thing. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've been one since I was a kid. What I mean by a kid, I didn't even share this, Denise. I used to sell candy in high school. I kind of missed over that part, right? So I've always been an entrepreneur at heart, right? So my thing is, when I was in that travel company, I told my coach, listen, I've always had this curiosity. And you can stop me anytime, Denise, if you want, by the way. I know I'm just going on because I get passionate about this.
People need to hear this because, me being in network marketing as well, like people need to hear this story. That's
got you.
All so they can hear it.
Absolutely. I got you. I get passionate about this. But I was like, I told the coach that was coaching me at that time, I said, listen, man, I've always had this curiosity for what makes the great great. What makes certain people get into that top, what they call 1% versus others. I always had this passion. And this is around about 2014, 15. And so I told him this. He said, okay, sounds great. He said, what you going to do about it? I said, well, I have an idea of starting a conference call where I interview entrepreneurs who I feel are rising into what we call the top 1% are already in the 1%.